Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Gabbin with Oof with your host, your friendly neighborhood Oofman here, episode 13. And so, again, didn't want to ride solo, so I am bringing in my brother from a different mother. I'm living down south in Florida, my boy Gino. Gino, how you doing this evening, my friend?
I am doing well. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate being here.
Awesome, man. Thank you for being on as well, though. Thank you for accepting the invite. So, if you guys are wondering, hey, oof, why is Gino back? Well, I want you guys to check out Papa Gino's channel on his YouTube. His last video, episode 20, I believe, of Pushback Wrestling. Um, he spoke about toxicity amongst wrestling fans, especially after this weekend. And so, what I wanted to do here now on episode 13 of Gabbin with Oof is I want to gab with Gino about that toxicity amongst fans, but especially a situation that happened. So, not sure if many people are familiar with, but there is this awesome con called the Big Event, which is held here in New York. And it's great. I attended it back in March of 2025 with my boy Joe. Shout out to Joe Bruno. Hope you're feeling better, my brother. And it was awesome. And one of the people who went was AJ Lee. She was there and her line was out the door. Great. Joe wanted to get a photo signed with her. I went to go see Bret Hart because, of course. And so Joe waited almost 2 hours to meet her and everything went well. Cool. It came back in, I believe, late November, I think the week before or two before Thanksgiving. But we weren't sure if AJ was going to be there because by then she had returned to WWE, and we know how WWE doesn't play well with others. And so the whole thing was, will she be there? Will she not be there? Well, it was signed that she was. Cool. Everybody was happy. I didn't go because I just didn't feel like going. So the event happened, and I saw people on X, on Facebook, putting all their photos of fans of a bunch of people that I'm part of groups of and all that. And they're all happy watching, going to meet their favorite wrestlers. They post their photos. Great. I do it too. And everybody does it. Well, unfortunately, a couple days later from said event, one fan who I will not acknowledge nor give his screen name or anything or his handle because you can go on X and find it yourself. He went to the big event in November and and did a meet and greet with AJ Lee. Cool, NBD. But what he did later on at home, and this is probably another subject for another day, I can't stand AI. It's ridiculous and weird, and it just blows my mind in the bad way. Through an AI device, app, whatever, this guy created a video of him meeting AJ where he took the photo of when they met, but then he made a video through AI of them kissing. I use this because it's fake. It's of kissing. He posted it on his X, and AJ actually contacted him and politely asked him if he can remove this because it's wrong, which it was. It's harassment, which it is, and it's very inappropriate, which it very is. And to this day, we are now in the Christmas. As you can see, the lights are behind me. We're in the Christmas spirit. This guy has yet to take that down after AJ asked politely, and us fans have confronted him via X and all that, saying like, "Bro, this is highly messed up." So to bring back the man with the guns here, Gino. So Gino, real fast, just your thoughts on not only this situation that happened, but your overall. Because again, I love your perspective. I love your view of it. This toxicity that you started it with your video, and we're going to continue on here. My question to you is, Gino, where is the line to be drawn? It's okay to be angry. Like there's a like we saw on this past Saturday. I know I'll bring it up real fast. Cena's retirement. But then this toxicity of fans just going a little bit overboard on their reactions. So, my brother from a different mother, what say you about the reaction of fans when they take things a little over the line, or is there no line anymore that fans are gonna step over? What say you, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much, Oofman. First of all, the video series is called Major Push Wrestling, so go check that out whenever you get a chance. But yeah, you had honestly, I hadn't even heard of it, and that's probably because I'm not spending as much time on the socials and stuff like that. I kind of just spend a lot of time on YouTube, maybe a little bit on Instagram, but I don't like I used to be on Reddit all the time, and that's kind of where I would see the good, the bad, and the ugly of what's going on throughout the internet. Haven't really been on there as often. I think for the better overall. But you had mentioned this to me, and I knew we were going to talk about it, so I just had to see it for myself. I hate that I did. and I hate that I gave this person a click. But I really did need to see it to feel like I could honestly assess the situation. Like, how bad is it? Like, is it the headlines are worse than what it actually is? And yeah, dude, it's uncomfortable to watch. Like, you know it's fake, but it looks legit, like enough. And it's like going back and forth, like different edits of like one way kissing. That's just it's. I don't even want to describe it, but you've seen it. Anybody
Yeah,
who's
the
seen it,
the
hopefully
less
you
the
don't
less
have
said,
to
the
see
better.
it.
Yeah, I get you. I
Yeah.
get you.
Um, but yeah, it speaks to the toxicity of fans, and the toxicity of fans doesn't have to just come from the negativity aspect. It can come from over obsession aspect as well. Um, as far as AI itself and its use in the world, I feel like used for good, just like any other modern and advance in technology, it does have a place. When we're taking people's likeness against their will, against their consent, and doing things like this, or whether you're making a movie and you take an actor's likeness, or you're modeling somebody's movements based in a video game and you're trying to do that to get around like paying them, like, or doing something like this where it's, you know, I'm sure it could go even further. I'm sure it could go into graphic content and all that stuff. And that's where a line needs to be drawn. And frankly speaking, there is a line that's been drawn, right? Taking certain IPs and taking certain characters and things like that, like, isn't allowed. But there are AI tools out there that don't give a crap, right? The respectable ones govern themselves through, okay, that's against our policy or that's against our protocol. But it's becoming easier and easier for AI to come out of the woodworks for all these different companies, or who knows, maybe just Joe Schmo in their basement. But to not only make it, okay, whatever, you wanted to live in a fantasy world, you're just using AI, you're typing some things in, what's the harm, right? It's all fake. And then you post it and, hey, ha ha ha, she's kissing me, blah, blah, blah. And then she reaches out to you respectfully, and she didn't have to do it respectfully, mind you, but she probably did it respectfully because she's a wonderful human being and because you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. So you use your niceties to try and ask this person to take that down. It's upsetting. I feel like you're harassing me, those types of things. And to leave it up is now it's super over the line and super toxic, right? Like, you could maybe argue in like a court of law that making the video, well, the AI tool allowed me to do it, and posting it, well, I thought it was funny. Like, you could argue maybe that that's not toxic. I think it's toxic, but once you're going over the line of you're asking for it to be taken down and you're just either ignoring it or not doing that, super disrespectful. It reminds me of when people were telling Naomi she's like an awful human being for having gotten pregnant, which is the most beautiful thing on God's earth. So it's like, if you're like, and there's this is why this whole break in like kayfabe and stuff also kind of, I know, kind of getting away from the AI topic, but people chasing Gunther down after he leaves the show, like, that's what you want for your heel. Obviously, he was safe. They had security, blah blah blah. As long as you're not like throwing things or whatever, you can flip them off, say "f you," all the stuff. Like, that's what you want if you're a super bad heel. But when you're reaching out to the human beings behind the characters and you're being harassment or you're commenting to them inappropriately or any of these things, it's just wrong. And these people would never do these types of things to their face. He would never have the balls to be like, can I use this to make AI? I mean, whatever, maybe he didn't think of it, whatever. But to leave it up, to not take it down, super toxic. And people just feel like they can, because they're hiding behind a keyboard and whatever, they don't have to follow like social normities and guidelines. Obviously, we have freedoms, but this is a new tool and there's going to have to be laws put in place. There really is. Like, even if it says made with AI, like that's not enough. Like, if you're using somebody's likeness, like what's going to motivate AJ to go take another photo shoot? Like you said, WWE sometimes doesn't play nice with others. Like, what's going to stop AJ Lee from giving other fans the grace and her time, even though they're paying for it? But you know, and that maybe he thought, I'm paying for it, so I can do whatever I want. And like, I do understand that level of thinking, but it's not what you're signing up for when you're doing these things, and it's really skeeves me out. And at the end of the day, whatever, you made the video, who knows what people are making without posting. Okay, you post it, whatever. But if you're asking to be having it taken down from somebody that you claim to like and respect, like you paid to wait and see them, like that's where it's compounding on all this other toxicity, Oofman. I know I took it in a bunch of different directions, but
No,
it's
no, it's fine. It's
difficult
fine.
to happen.
Cool.
So what do you think after kind of, I know I didn't take a huge, it was totally evil from the beginning stance, but like I do see kind
That's
of
fine.
why things happened, but like I think it's wrong. Like, what do you think? Do you think that like maybe he didn't realize he was doing anything wrong and it crossed that line when she asked him to take it down and he didn't? Or is it just like no on the AI, no on using people's likeness, whatever, even if it's in the privacy of your own home?
Well, that's the thing. To quote, I'm pretty sure someone said that. That's the thing. But that's the thing. What you do at home with AI and to entertain yourself, that's between you and the big man upstairs. Whatevs. You do what you got to do. But like you said, when you're going to put something out there and you know it's not real, it's going to get people talking. It's going to get people thinking. And again, out of like, let's say 1,000 posts after this video of this guy posted, I'd say like a good 99% of them, all of us, including yours truly, added his 2 cents of, we told the guy like, bro, take this down. It's wrong. It's messed up. Again, if you made the video and if you wanted to make a video of you kissing AJ, like you said, all right, you're free to do so, but you're putting it out on a platform on X and all that. Even back, I'm showing my age, back in my day, we had something called MySpace. And even before that, AOL Messenger. Once you put it out there, and especially something in a world like the world of X, people are going to see it. And they're actually, the mind-blowing thing is people are actually defending this guy, saying it's his right. One user who, again, I don't remember his handle, so even if I wanted to share it, I couldn't because I don't remember it. He's like, it's your freedom to do so. It's your right as a fan. And he put hashtag, I'm sure it's he, hashtag fans rights. And again, we all went after him too, because it's like, no, they're really, it just reminds me of the whole CM Punk thing when people were yelling at Punk, like, we bought, when he left WWE the first time he left, that fans were yelling at Punk, like, we bought your house. It's like, no, I didn't. Yeah, I bought a ticket to go see Raw and I saw CM Punk, but I didn't purchase his house. He bought his house. So this thing that like this whole fans right thing, where I just think people are running a little bit crazy with it, a little bit wild with it, where the fans are it's going back to that mentality of that era of Punk, or even of this demand that we as a fan have a right to do what we want. I mean, you do, but also you don't. And like you said, harassment and something very inappropriate, that is the line. But you may think you're doing something funny, you may think you're doing something cute, but in the end, you're doing something obviously without the person's consent, number one. And number two, you're introducing something that is not real. And people get fooled. I get fooled by AI left and right. I see the videos on social media and I sit there going like, wow, this looks legit. I mean, some of it is funny. The wrestling ones of like people from the past in the ring quoting stars of today. That is funny. I got to admit that is funny. But when you do something like this and taking it to the extreme, now, the next thing is the next phase that we're all not necessarily worried about, but the next thing that to come up is, well, what can happen after this? Well, I can say a couple days after this incident happened, the big event posted on all their social media platforms that this fan has officially been banned from attending the big event. And some fans were contacting the site whether on social media or whatever, their website, saying, well, the guy, he can simply wear a mask and boom, he gets into the event. But I'm sure the way it is that when people usually are banned from an arena or something like that, if you come wearing a mask and security is looking specifically for somebody, or they have this like not allowed list, they can ask people that bring masks to take them off to see who this individual is. So I got to big props to the big event for doing that, for banning this guy, because all it takes is one person to ruin it for all of us. So even going back to Saturday, the toxicity, we saw a little bit of the fans going a little too far with the Cena thing. Like, okay, you didn't get the ending that you wanted. Even I didn't get the ending that I wanted. I thought he was going to pass out. But it seems like now, like you said in your video, Triple H is being attacked. He's being yelled at, screamed at. And really, do you think, Gino, does that show passion in the fans? Or is that like that they're so angry that they didn't get what they want that they need to lash out? So what is it? Is it just like they're really angry, like, all right, take it out on Gunther, for example? Or is it like, have we reached a fever point where it's like, I didn't get what I wanted, so I'm going to bash out and chant stupid things? Like, chanting AEW did not help nobody in that cause when Triple H was outside. So again, what is it? Is it anger, like, I didn't get what I wanted? Or is it like, all right, I'm going to have fun? Can you have fun with yelling stupid things? Or can this toxicity of fans, can you actually have fun with it? Or is it, do you think, just like harassment, harshness, and like just plain evil?
That's a great question. As far like, let's just call a spade, right? When it comes down to sexual things about a woman, that's crossing a line. I do not even put that on the same level as chanting AEW and we want Vince. You have a right to chant whatever you want. I think you're dense if you go along with it. I've been in arenas plenty of times
Completely
over the
agree.
last
Completely agree.
right, and I've been in arenas over the last 20 years of WWE. I don't chant along with the stuff I think is stupid, and I will say I will shout to the people around me, that's stupid. Why are we chanting that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Stop saying what. Like, I never do the what
I
chants.
I was gonna say that. I call out the fans once the what starts chanting. I stand up in my chair and I turn around and they look at me like, "What's the matter, bro?" And I'm like, "We're still doing this." But go on, sir.
Yeah, you're ruining it. And like, even Stone Cold says, I wish I didn't do that. Like, it's one thing to do it if you're like trying to boo a heel. Like, okay, but we're doing things to faces and blah, blah, blah. But either way, you have a right to chant, you effed up, holy whatever, you sick, whatever. Like, you have a right to chant whatever you like, as long as you're not crossing a line. Like, if somebody says a racial slur to somebody and it's heard, like, you get kicked out of the arena. Like, doesn't matter if it's basketball, if somebody hears you do it in football, which is difficult. Like, these things, there's a level of human decency. Like, we're not animals in a cage. They're performers, and you can go along with the show and voice your displeasure, because you're right. I believe, and we had heard them chant, "Don't tap out, don't give up," because they didn't want to see that. But that's when when your speculation becomes expectation. They were speculating that Cena wouldn't give up. They were speculating that he would still beat Gunther. But at the end of the day, we are better off. WWE is better off as a product with this storyline versus Gunther loses to Cena and then Cena goes out. What, we're protecting his character for what? And now Gunther's looks even worse. He loses to Jey Uso and then can beat Goldberg and LA Knight, but can't beat Cena in his final match. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I get it. Like, they want to go home happy, and I addressed a lot of that in my other video, but I'll summarize it here. Like, they say they want Vince because Vince his motto was to send people home happy. So maybe he would have a dark match after the televised event is over, to let them go home happy. The difference is that event was never going to end with anything else other than Cena walking off. Even if they had a dark match afterwards, it would have pooped on Cena's legacy and the night that was. Like, sometimes it's okay for fans to go home angry. There are times where it's not okay to make them happy. I will point to WrestleMania 28. I was there once in a lifetime, which then wasn't once in a lifetime, but it will always be once in a lifetime to me. And The Rock won after being away, and Cena had carried the freaking company on his back. And I think you put over the guy who's there, and obviously they realized their mistake is then they let him do that the next year. But they did that so the fans could go home happy, or because The Rock said I'm not losing, and Cena's like whatever, and maybe they were going to do the heel turn thing, but the company wasn't better off for that. And so they need to make decisions that are better off for them. And you have every right to be upset with them. But when you're crossing a line, like if you want to draw an image of AJ kissing you, whatever. You want to post that and she asks you to take it down, you still take it down. Is that like illegal? Is that crossing a line and toxic? No. Like whether you're a guy or a girl, like, and people are attracted to you, they're going to imagine themselves being with you. And through whatever artistic means they want to do that, or how they go about that, like, I understand why people think you're right, but the problem is you don't understand what rights are. You think freedom means you can just do whatever you want, but you don't realize about the Patriot Act, and you don't understand that rights are based on humanity, not on what's right and wrong, and whether or not you can do it because it exists. Like, it's just, see, when people were saying that, like, you can tell that they don't respect the performers. They don't respect women or even men. They're trying to defend their own sickness essentially. And I'm sure this guy who said it on the comment, oh, that it's his right, probably does stuff like this all the time. But at least he has the decency not to post that stuff, right? So it's like, even when you think that you're not doing anything wrong, you still know what lines are crossed and what lines aren't crossed. And if he had taken it down, maybe no harm, no foul, right? She asked you to take it down and you do it, and whatever. But I'm sure he's blowing up after she mentioned it. The views are clicking. There's an advertisement before the video plays if you don't have YouTube Premium or
Oh,
however
there
you
is
watched
really?
it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he's getting paid for those clicks. Honestly, if AJ's going to sue somebody, maybe she can do a civil suit against him. She's not talking about suing him. I'm just saying, but the AI company for sure, because when you're a performer, especially, you have like a copyright to your image. Now, somebody like James Earl Jones, before he passed, he gave Disney his voice rights to use AI to make him say, and Darth Vader say whatever with his voice moving forward. Like, there are people that'll do that, whether they're compensated fairly or not. Is you get what you negotiate. But this is like a legal thing, but it's not like technically illegal. And this is where the government needs to step in and make hard cut legal, like, punishments and laws to regulate this stuff. Otherwise, it can get out of hand. Hollywood is working on that right now. That's why they had the strike last so long, because the studios wanted to be able to use the AI to do whatever they want with your likeness, and that's not okay. It's not. So at the end of the day, this could have been all nothing, and maybe people wouldn't even be talking about it now if he had just taken it down. Okay, it's upsetting this person that I like, but that's where, like, I like that we're doing this video, because now we're talking about what your positive passions for something can be toxic, as well as your hatred for what you're seeing. So I hate that you put it on my radar and made me look it up, but I am also glad that we got the opportunity to, like, discuss this, because AI is going to be a topic of discussion for years to come.
Eventually, yeah.
It's just really frustrating,
Yeah,
Usman, and
awesome.
yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, and I'm not going to be here on my high horse or anything like that, because it's just going to the whole thing of these people do this because it's their job, it's their craft, and it's awesome that they do it. I, again, showing my age, back in the day when both of us were young guys, yeah, they did events and all that, but nothing like today with the cons and the appearances, whether it's WWE controlled or it's just WrestleCon that I went to as well. And and these personalities, all these wrestlers, and in our case wrestlers, do it. And so, but you see also cons for artists as well. Artists are there. Me, I'm a huge Power Rangers nerd. I had the honor of meeting the entire first season cast. I met them all in 2016 and 2017 here in Jersey and in Pennsylvania and in Boston, because it's a passion of mine. And how cool it is that they're all these years later, they reunited to go back to doing these cons to meet their fans. They don't have to. Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Ranger, she does cons here and there. She was, I don't want to call her the outcast of the group, but she was the one that really was doing rare appearances. But she finally got to do it. I don't know what made her finally do it, but she was so happy to do it. When I went to the Q&A panel, she's like, I kept reading these, the original cast were doing cons here and there. Jason David Frank, God rest his soul. He's the one that contacted her and be like, hey, you should really come out and do these. And she did. And so it's a way for us fans to say thank you to these personalities. Like, especially like in my case with the Power Rangers, I was a 12-year-old kid watching this show. I had no idea what it was about. And now at over 21, I finally got to meet him and say personally thank him, like, you were my childhood. I mentioned it earlier in the Q&A panels and in the group chats and all that. I'm the Bret Hart mark, and I made a promise to myself that, especially after Bret's stroke, that anytime Bret is within a good traveling distance, I'm going to do everything I can to go see him, to keep saying thank you to him, but mostly just checking up on how he's doing because, again, of his health status. And again, saw him at WrestleCon before SummerSlam. And I went to, like I said earlier, I went to the big event in New York in March to meet Bret. You can kind of see it there in the middle of my title is a picture of me and Bret that I got him to sign. And again, his health issues, not that his health is getting worse, but he rarely travels nowadays. So anytime he's in the New York, New Jersey area, I go see him to say thank you to him for what he meant to my childhood. Like a little kid will go see Roman Reigns or let's say John Cena or Seth Rollins or CM Punk today in 2025. I was them back in 92, 93, watching the Hitman be literally the best, in my view, the GOAT. And now at this age, how cool it is to see him. So now to the continuation on this, the what could be the fallout. And again, we literally on X just started getting this conversation of these people that were quote unquote supporting this guy's like, oh, there's nothing they can do about it. What's going to be the harm of this? The only harm I can think of is AJ completely puts a kibosh on doing meet and greets. Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, she's now back in WWE. WWE is a petty company, as we're all aware. They don't like to play nice with others, like you mentioned. So as of right now, she's not signed to go back to the next, the big event, which is coming up in March. There are other former personalities signing up. But the overall picture could be, if this guy still has it on, if this thing keeps this stain amongst fans, that's what could happen. Personalities can either just stop going to these cons, which hurt the poor vendors at the con, because it's like, you not only are wrestling personalities there are people selling stuff, selling merch, selling t-shirts, old magazines, and it's pretty cool to see. Or people, what I really like enjoying about these cons is these people that make arts and crafts on wrestlers, which, whether it's a drawing that they drew or a pixelated image of the wrestler. It's cool to see arts and crafts that people make while you go meet your favorite wrestler. So I'm not saying that like it's going to destroy the meet and greet era, but it possibly can just make cons not fun, because if a personality is not there, it's a bummer. But again, they go when they can. So what I'm saying is, for Fallout, is either one or two things could happen. Is one, a performer, a wrestler, or an actress, actor, whatever, can just stop doing them, which stinks. They do virtual signings, which is pretty cool, I guess, but there's no interaction. Or probably the not so bad thing would be maybe kind of like when the Comic-Cons returned after the pandemic. There was that big thing with Sasha Banks and Naomi, where Sasha and Naomi were like 6 feet away from the people, and fans were upset because they paid hundreds of dollars to meet Naomi and the former Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Moné. Yet when they took the photo, it was like they're here and Mercedes and Naomi were over there. A friend of mine, she went to go to see, she loves Brendan Fraser, and she went right after the pandemic. So what they had was, they had this really thin plastic clear wall in between the two, and so they took an awesome photo of them back to back. You can't even tell that there's a plexiglass in between them. I thought, like everybody, like, "Oh, you went back to back with Brendan Fraser?" She's like, "No, there's a thin plexiglass between me and him." And I'm like, "Oh, you can't even and you really can't see in the photo." So that's the thing. Will that return and all that? So just again, my experience of not only the big event or meeting people is, and especially when it comes to female talent, as you all know, I'm a big mark for Tony Storm and Mina as well, and female personalities. And everyone that I've met, every time I walk up to them, I say hello, introduce myself. I always ask, "Can I get a hug?" And all of them have said yes. I give them a hug. We talk for these skins, sign my autograph, and if I paid for a photo, I get a photo. And every time it's time for the photo, I ask, "Can I put my arm around you?" And again, all have said yes. Arm around the photo, pose, photo, maybe take a couple more and all that. But I always try to show them, like, look, I'm going to be polite. I'm going to honor you, to thank you not only for coming here, but thank you for meeting you. But let me ask, can I put my arm around you? And I asked for one quick hug or a fist bump. I fist bumped Tony Storm. We did this cute little fist bump at the end. And it's just showing gratitude, like, thank you so much for being awesome. But I'm also showing politeness to them because again, they go out of their way to do this. And I thank them for that as a fan, and many fans out there thank them as well. But now the question, I'll throw it right back to you, Gino, is what could possibly be, again, because this happened once, who's to say either this guy or someone else decides to do it again? What could be the ramifications of this? Which again, it has quieted down, but the fact that I asked you to be on here is because the video is still up. Had he removed it, we wouldn't be talking. We'd be probably talking about something else. I don't know. But because of the fact that it's still up, and like I said, the big event is announcing other artists and all that, and it's a tiny cloud, but it's still out there. So, your opinion, what could you see as a negative fallout of this? We talked about the positives, that hopefully this guy, it'll come to him to remove it, and like you said, life will go on. But what do you think a negative can come out of this?
That's a great question. So obviously you had mentioned though that the big event suspended him. I'm sure the logo for that event is in the background of the picture and thus in the background of the video. So it's almost like they're endorsing it, so they
Yes,
want
it
to
is.
take a
It
hard
really is. Yep.
stance on it. Yeah. So yeah, because they got that, whatever you call that back screen, that's logos everywhere and stuff. But you know, again, I think it has to come with legal repercussions, right? If there's no punishment for this guy, what's stopping anybody else from doing it? I mean, that's why punishments exist, to deter others from that behavior. That's why Michael Vick, when he did what he did, he got so much more time than anybody thought he should have, because they want to stop people from thinking that you can do it. That's why murder and all this stuff gets really hard sentences, because they want you to not do that. Um, I don't think that he would even be sued or anything like that, or face any maybe legal repercussions, if he had taken it down upon request, right? You could argue again in the court of law that creating it and even posting it isn't illegal, because when I go to post my YouTube videos, it says, "Is this made with altered content? Yes or no?" Of like real human beings, and if you say like yes, like okay, like I told you it's fake, right? So like I could see where people are coming from with that. Again, I don't agree with it, but there are these things in place so that you can post it. It's not like illegal to do that, but like this person, from to the best of my knowledge, is making money off of this. Now that's making money off of somebody else's likeliness and image, and you're not taking video from a match or video from a movie or a TV show and doing that. Like we see all the smash cuts with John Hamm dancing. Like, do I think he needs to get paid for that? No, I think he got paid for making that originally. And then everybody else is making money off of these awesome videos, and we love it, right? It's not AI edited, but it's still using somebody's image. Whether he has a problem with it or not doesn't matter. Like, you got paid to have that out there. Like, she was taking these essentially private photos with people, and yeah, they'll post them and do this stuff, but there's a line. Like, I went and met one of my favorite YouTubers of all time a few weeks ago, and if I had made an AI video AI of the picture, and like he's like, I don't even know. I can't even think of something as egregious as this. But like doing something that he's not, or making it sound like he's saying an opinion that's not his. Like it's wrong. You're crossing a line, and it's not okay. And the negatives that can come back to from this, to go back to your original question, is more people are going to start to do it. There's already images of people that they consented to have taken for certain magazines or whatever photo shoots or Sports Illustrated. And then, like, where's the line? Now you can take any picture and make it do whatever you want. That's a fun, cool, futuristic thing to be able to do for sure. But when it's getting in a sexual nature, that's when it's harassment. That's when it's inappropriate. That's when it's cyberbullying, essentially. And like there needs to be consequences for that, regardless of whether you think it's your right or freedom or whatever you want to try and justify it. It's just wrong. And rights versus human decency are different things. Like, and I would love for, again, there are ways that maybe this isn't that big of a deal, but it is a big deal. And if I'm in a justice system, or if I'm anywhere, like, yeah, they banned him because they know it's wrong and they don't want to be associated with that. The negatives could be maybe female talent stop doing that. But again, even if they're far apart, like they were like her head wasn't looking at him. Like, so it was like the video the AI did a lot of work on that. And again, like as long as it's not illegal, what you're whatever doing in your own home is one thing. Like, don't act like you're a fan of this person, or that you earned the right to do this by paying whatever price you paid to get a picture. That's what you got with your price. Every word you spoke together in the picture is what you got with the price. So they're probably going to have to start putting on ticket stubs. You can't do this. The Bad Guys 2, the animated movie, in the end credits, it says this cannot be used for AI. So you can't use any of that movie, any of the voice, any of the images. AI is not legally allowed to do that. So they're probably going to have to start putting something in the tickets, in the contracts and stuff like that, that say AI is not allowed to use this. Now it could, it's not like AI knows right from wrong. It can still do it, but then that makes it illegal, and then you can be prosecuted for it. And that's probably where it's going to have to come down to. It's just like, again, have your fun, whatever. But a line was clearly crossed, and no matter what industry you're in, like respect for women needs to come back. Like this could be a whole nother video, but like whether you dislike somebody, like you dislike Nikki Bella, you're not like completely disrespecting and brutalizing a woman's life. Like you don't have to like somebody. You can you can hate on them respectfully.
Yeah.
You can, yeah. So they're like, not to call you out on that or anything like that, because I like Nikki, you don't. Oh, big deal, whatever. But like there are
It's
things
fine.
that, yeah, there are things that cross the line. It's not like you went on X and you posted, oh my God, blah 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 blah. No, you, like, it's just there. You know how to be a decent human being, whether you like something or whether you don't. But if you like somebody and you do this, and they ask you to take it down and you don't, maybe you should start to consider that you don't like them at all, and you're just a creep. Not you. Not talking about Oofman Entertainment. I'm talking about the gentleman. I hesitate to call that person a
No.
gentleman, scumbag, who continues to post, continues to
Yeah.
have this video up. Um, yeah, it's a damn disgrace, Oofman. It really is.
Yeah, and again, my whole thing, to wrap this up, awesome time together. My whole thing is that where, unfortunately, it all it takes is one person to ruin it for everybody. Again, my boy Joe years ago took a photo with AJ. It was him, and it was an awesome photo. He printed it out, and he was so excited. I went because not only was Brett there, AJ was going to be there, so we made the long. If anybody knows, the long trek to Long Island. Oof. It's just forever to get to Central Long Island. I think Nassau County, I think it's where it is. It's held. We made the trek, and like I said, he waited 2 hours for it, and he had this big smile on his face. He got the photo signed, and at the last second, he bought another package to get a new photo with AJ. And I'm like, hey, again, like we're talking about, it's your freedom, your choice to do so. But to see his excitement on his face, he saw mine after getting my photo with Brett signed. I spoke to Brett for like 30 seconds. The fandom comes out, and again, no matter if you're 44 right here or you 21, doesn't matter how old you are, you're a fan for life, and it's cool that we had this opportunity to meet these people. But like we shared today, when fans take it to an extreme, to a darkness, to a not real reality, and they think, all right, I'm going to make something that's a fantasy of mine. And this guy, again, if you look in his, again, anybody can go on X and just search for it. If you go through his profile, all right, he's a fan of AJ's, cool, but this was way over the line to do this. It's again, of all the Gino, how much I adore Tony Storm. I would never ever think of doing, and I haven't. Trust me, I haven't. I would never ever do that to disrespect Tony, Nina, Natty, Sky Blue, all these female awesome wrestlers that I adore. Would never do that. So yeah, now like you just said, questioning this guy's fandom. Are you a true fan, or are you just playing a psycho? Because a true fan would be honored to meet them, get their photos with them, get something signed, and cherish it if you want. I have all my photos with all the ladies and men too of personalities that I've met on my social medias, and anybody can check them out. But it's the authentic photo, whether it's at a con, at a wrestling show, or me not stalking but standing outside the arena and the wrestlers are coming in, quick little shoot. It's there for you to see. But as a fan, I am honored to meet them, whether it's a 10-second thing or again the times I met Brett. The first time I met him, we spoke for like what felt like forever, which was awesome. I'm like, I'm meeting my freaking wrestling hero here. And never would I ever disrespect the great Bret Hart. And again, to all the ladies I've met, never would disrespect them. The latest one I met was Natty at her book signing, and again, was there talking about with fans. We were all happy to see her. We got her book signed. I got my copy signed. And again, I told her it's an honor to meet you. And she's like, oh, we met before. And we started chit chatting when we last met. And I do that to thank them and get their stuff signed to because again, as a diehard fan trying to meet them and now having the possibility to do so, I take it as an honor to try to go meet them. But when the darkness unfortunately happens, when something like this happens, like I said earlier, all it takes is one person to ruin it for all of us. And in the end, will that person get a satisfaction, or did this guy do this on purpose to get AJ to respond? We will never know. I don't need to know the answer, but curiosity did hit me like maybe he did this on purpose. Maybe he wanted to get, how desperate of a fan was he to get AJ's attention that, well, he got it. Did he find her tweet, print it out and like, hang it on his wall, frame it? We don't know. Quick story, how kind of connecting to it. A couple years ago on Twitter, I shouted out a couple wrestling personalities when it was my birthday. The only person to answer and give me a happy birthday shout out was Natty, and I hit the roof. I'm like, OMG, Natty wished me a happy birthday. Granted, I called her out, but she still did it. And I screenshot the tweet, but that's where it stopped. I didn't create a video or this. I don't have the screenshot on a frame with candles and a laser protecting it. No, I was just happy as a pig in its own filth that Natty shouted me out on my birthday. So maybe I'm not going to lie, that kind of was my intent to get her attention. So in this situation, he got it, but he did it the wrong way, like we've said. So overall, Gino, I truly hope the toxicity of fans, keep it down a notch, keep it on first gear. Again, get angry when you want to, but hopefully keep it within the realms of the fantasy world. Don't bring it into reality, because then now with AI, like we said, the whole thing's on our last video of movie studios. Like you said, that's what the whole strike was about. AI could take over the studios. Hopefully people will use AI for a greater good. Hopefully this could be, we hope as wrestling fans, this is the one time that AI is used for, let's call it for bad. And again, I'm banking and hoping, whether it be the big event coming up in March or any other con that happens between now until the good Lord calls all of us home, that this is the one only incident. Because if it gets out of line, again, the ultimate question that we won't answer right now is, when will it stop? Will it get worse? What is the next level of toxicity or just level of darkness can fandom go to? But in the end, I hope it doesn't ruin it for all of us. And if it does, we'll find out where this person lives. No, I'm kidding. If it does ruin it, again, I really just hope it doesn't. But as fans of movies, as fans of wrestling, we just hope that this was a one-time incident. Artists can be safe, go into cons, go into meet and greets, and have no problem. Again, if they have to do the 6 foot thing, if they have to do the plexiglass thing, I'll take that as a win versus canceling their appearance. Like you said, maybe these convention halls now have to print it out, or maybe when to get your photo printed, they have that little warning, like, warning, we'll find you, or we'll find your IP address. Again, hopefully people will use their heads, not like my father used to say, not just for your wig. They'll use their heads and not do this. But like I said, the attention this guy got and the support he's got, it's a little support, but it just can just explode. And hopefully, again, next time there is a con or something, someone else doesn't do this. And it can happen to guys too, not just as women. It could happen to men and women as well. But Gino, I want to thank you so much for coming on today. If you could tell the people where to find you, and you can plug your channel. And also, again, check out his, just if you want a quick little recap of your last video.
Yeah, just last video posted Wednesday night, just about Triple H versus the Toxic fans, and who's right, who's wrong in the situation. Go check it out all on YouTube. PapaGino0017. That's PapaGino0017. Thank you so much for having me on, Oofman. I am happy to come back whenever you'll have me.
No, that's cool. All right. So again, once again, thank you so much, Gino. Everybody, please check out his channel. For everybody else, thank you so much for watching. And again, gab it out on the comments. What do you think? What will be the fallout of this unfortunate fans situation? Will AJ stop doing meetups? Will both male or female wrestlers stop doing it? What can a greater good come out of it? So many questions to answer there. But again, on behalf of PapaGino, thank you so much, my brother from Different Other, for coming on. For everybody else, thank you so much. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, that bell notification for our next video come up. Might be with Mr. Gino again. Who knows? We'll see you later. On that note, we'll see you later. God bless. Take care of everybody and yourself included. And again, if we don't see you before then, happy holidays to you and your loved ones.